After completing a picture-perfect abrasion followed by a close-up inspection, Perseverance backed up and turned away from this outcrop, ready to move on. Then, after playing dead for a week, something about it demanded a second look. On this episode of Mars Guy. This episode started out as a report on a concerning sequence of events, or maybe non-events, that unfolded over the course of a week starting on April 8. That's when Perseverance completed a brief investigation of a slab of outcrop and backed away. Here's Mars Guy for scale. This scene nicely captures the recent activity, starting with an approach from the southeast, ending here on Sol 1817, which allowed the team to decide on an optimal location and orientation for working on these rocks. 2 sols later, Perseverance executed a 20-meter drive that included a 90-degree turn here, followed by a short straight segment, then another turn to align with the target, followed by a short approach, all using a combination of pre-planned waypoints and visual odometry. All this executed beautifully, but it was the drive away from here when things got worrisome. Perseverance only managed a backup and quarter turn before abruptly ending the drive. The abruptness is manifested by its four corner wheels still rotated in the orientation that's used to execute a turn in place. And that's the way they stayed for the next 3 sols. On the 4th sol, after what seems like a drive fault, the left front and left rear wheels were straightened. Not so with the right rear, and the right front moved only a tiny amount. This all looked like the engineers were attempting to deal with mobility issues. Another 3 sols passed with nothing changed except for my increasing level of concern. Finally, on Sol 1833, new images revealed that Perseverance had moved, but only back to the same slabs of rock it was working on before. I'm not quite sure how to interpret all this. Maybe the plan for April 8 really was to drive away, but a drive fault stopped Perseverance literally in its tracks, which gave the science team more time to analyze the data from the abrasion patch. Maybe they discovered something that motivated a return. The new position is well back from the first one, so maybe the intent is to look at a different part of this outcrop. The abrasion patch is notable for its similarity to one of the first ever abrasion patches made back in September of 2021. This was in the olivine-rich rocks of the Sita terrain, home to the oldest rocks on the floor of Jezero crater, nearly 13 kilometers to the east, as the helicopter flies. The latest abrasion patch has a similar texture that includes crystals with rainbow glints that show up under the changing illumination of Watson's LEDs. As I've noted in previous episodes, rainbow glints like this are a telltale feature of the volcanic mineral olivine, where it's got enough iron to turn it from the green color that gives its name to more of a brown hue. It's significant if the rocks here are the same composition and texture as the ones in Jezero crater, which have a complex origin story as presented by the science team in a recently published paper. Basically, they suggest that the olivine-rich rocks started out as magma injected into Jezero crater when it was filled with some unknown materials. Then, over time, erosion exposed the olivine-rich rocks to what we see today. It's not clear if this story would work outside of Jezero crater, so if the latest discovery really shows the same kind of rocks, it may require that the team circle back not only for a second look at these rocks, but also in thinking about the olivine-rich rocks in Jezero crater.